That got me moving.
Very good.
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. Well, why don't we go ahead and get started? It's 8 a.m., so we'll go ahead and call to order. We can dispense with roll call. All three council members are present and accounted for. Councilmember Jen Cathy, Councilmember Leota Dahlhoff, and myself, Councilmember Althauser. Our first order of business, as always, is approval of the meeting minutes from our last meeting on September 10th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So move.
And a second motion by Councilmember Cathy and seconded by Councilmember Dahlhoff. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. All right. That takes us to our one substantive item we have on the agenda regarding our 2025 comp plan periodic update. And we are again going to be discussing the user guide, but in a bit more detail this time. Erica, I think you're going to help us walk through that today. Is that right?
Yes, it is. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so did not include a staff report and no presentation. Today or this morning, we're just going to go over the user guide itself. The user guide is a document or a tool for someone who's not familiar with the comprehensive plan to help them kind of navigate and understand what the comprehensive plan is, because itself is so comprehensive. I did want to keep the document short just because all the technical, the part 1 and 2 of every element does pretty thoroughly explain what that element is, and our plan introduction is more of a deep dive into the comprehensive plan, the who, what, why, where. So keep that in mind when we are going over this user guide, but the feedback I'd really like to get from everyone this morning is it usable? Does it make sense? Is it enough information? If you knew nothing about the comprehensive plan, would this document show you where to go with specific information that you're looking for? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Give me just 1 second. All right, you should be able to see the first page of the document there. Growing Together is the title. So this document is a little revised from what was in the original packet. I am the housing and land use planner, but sometimes I do dabble in graphic design. So I wanted to add more pictures and make it a little more fun. This is just a brief overview, kind of how highlighting some questions and the background of it, and then how the comprehensive plan is used. So I'm just going to leave this up for a second. If there's no comments, no feedback on this cover page, I'll move on to the next one.
Eric, I just have a clarifying question. So when you're adding this stuff, which I love, are you also verifying the accessibility? Like for if anyone's using software to read it, like you're doing like the alt text for the photo and things like that?
Yeah, we will need to incorporate that before it's published live. This isn't due with the comprehensive plan update, the ordinance that's due at the end of the year. So
Right.
there's a little more flexibility with when this gets done. Obviously, like we want to post it so people can use it before
Right.
reading the comprehensive plan. Staff have also met. There's discussions about like maybe incorporating this information or these pages into a GIS storyboard. I don't know if anyone had the chance to take a look at the housing open house that was virtual, and be able to go through, because there was kind of like an interactive way to scroll through a lot of different information, but we could post that onto the comprehensive plan webpage, like embed it into the website for the comprehensive plan. That way this document would be able you'd click an arrow and it would just kind of flip through the pages. But to answer your question, I'm so sorry. Yes, we will check for accessibility. It's just, are we going to embed it online? And then also, are we just going to keep it as a document, like a PDF? So
I love all those options, right? Meeting multiple needs. The other question I was thinking about is when I read stuff like this, sometimes we get so into the weeds of our verbiage and our language and how we talk. I think of John Doe when he talked about the woman who lives in the greenhouse like if I was talking to a neighbor about this, would I say to guide policy decisions, to implement development regulations? Like how can we, right? Like how would I talk to my neighbor about this?
Yes, and that's, as a planner, that is it's hard because it is a very technical document, and
Right.
I do appreciate that feedback. This is probably like the fifth version that we've created, so I will try to keep that into consideration, maybe review some of the language, because
I love
yes,
all the points, but how do I use like if my mother came into town and I would go, we're going to use this to track implementation of the community driven vision and guiding principles. Like we get that, but how do we translate that into our neighbor for our neighbors to get?
yeah, totally understand. That's great feedback. Thank you.
And I love this. I think it's great. We just
Okay.
Leanne, I just wanted to tell you that woman in the greenhouse, she's not interested in this. That won't, don't worry about that. Don't worry about her.
Joan, we need her to be interested in this.
Oh, is that, oh, you're trying to convert. I see. Okay.
So great. I'm hearing, yeah, maybe just even simplify it a little more, simpler terms, maybe. So yeah, I hear you. Thank you. I'm going to go
I
on to
love
the,
it though.
yeah, I'm going to go on to the next page if we're okay.
Good.
This is getting into the elements and what kind of the topics, the specific elements that we talk about throughout the comprehensive plan. We just wanted to do maybe key updates and bullet point items of what would be included in the element, just so a reader could go through and determine, is this something I want to learn about, or where would I find some specific information? And we also wanted to include what is new with this update, give a high overview of what changed from the last comprehensive plan cycle.
Wouldn't it be interesting to know when people open this or they look at a page like this, which one of those things they're the most interested in? You know, what some seem to get more readership than others.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the process, we did have a survey. So we do have the comprehensive
Yeah.
plan survey. We got some data at the very beginning. I would say it's not necessarily scientific data, but for whoever responded, we did get some information, the top priorities or the top interests. So that was, we had that as a resource. But yeah, I think also we had a community survey. Maybe there was a little bit more data-driven results, scientifically accurate, I mean. So we do have some information, maybe just not, yeah.
Well, I think that you should feel good and solid with your information because people read different parts of something at different times. You know, things come up or the city's going to do a project or the council comes up with something, then they look more at that section, rather than something they just read all the way through.
Yeah, and I do think it depends on how does this impact me? When someone's reading something, it's
Yeah.
like, how does this relate to me? How is this going to impact me? So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it does change it, with housing,
Mhm.
climate, land use. It's just like, how does this impact me? And yeah, so that's great. Great thoughts.
Good.
The one thing for me, Erica, is does staff get like, or we're in the legislative district 22. Do you ever get the updates from our senators and representatives? Senator Jessica Bateman just came out on Friday, and I really liked her language that she's been using. So for the housing pieces, is like expand housing supply, build homes that match the budgets of younger and growing families, streamline permitting and construction. So like I like how she's like translating, right, what we have to, I'm wondering if we could zhuzh these bullet points as well.
What was
Zhuzh.
your last point, Leah?
She expand housing supply, build homes that match the budgets of younger and growing families. For me, I would also add seniors or whatever phase and stage of your life. streamline permitting and construction and make
Oh.
sure we are helping keep people in place to prevent homelessness and displacement.
And I personally always wonder what we mean when we say streamline.
Right. Well, she says cut the red tape.
She said what?
She says cut the red tape and streamline permitting and construction.
I wonder, Erica, so the purpose of this page is to highlight the delta between the old plan and the new plan, as opposed to covering kind of the bigger picture. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's hard when we're trying to create a document that's only a few pages versus
Yeah.
another whole huge document that's, 10 pages, because I easily could have made this bigger and like given more background on each element, like housing and what's in it, and then what we updated. It's just trying to get it down to the most concise bullet points. It was hard to determine what is most relevant, but going back to Councilmember Dahlhoff's point is we are doing those things that Senator Bateman has identified and is trying to promote. And I could easily change the bullet points if it is more applicable to the community and would relate more. So yeah, these are flexible bullet point items, but just with that being said, it's really how do we determine what information gets relayed?
I dig it. We're on page 2, but it's refreshing, it's visual, it's updated, and it's going to draw you in. So I like it. I would love however we post it, if someone can track the click rates, right? So what people are clicking on. I would love to know that because I think this is great. We haven't seen something like this before. So I appreciate this effort.
No.
Yeah. And if there's a way, I could probably try to summarize the updates, but then also create like a general overview in one of the bullets too.
Right.
We can play around with some of the wording here a little bit more to include both.
It's hard when you're trying to take something off the shelf. Because I don't think we worked this hard of getting people to read it, to understand it, to engage. Yeah, I'm glad to know that kind of a feeling. We've just done it.
Yeah. With that, I'm going to go on to the next page. There is a little bit of a change here from the version that was in the packet. Because the lands for public purposes is similar to our capital facilities plan, I thought it was hard to try to explain what both were while keeping them separate. So I just kind of this is the one with the most information, but I wanted to include the capital's facility plan under the lands for public purposes. And I tried to explain the difference between the two or how they relate to one another. So this was the change, and then I changed the graphic up above.
So people will think that Burger King is our. Just kidding.
I mean, I had a similar thought. Can we not have like fast food in the lands for public purposes?
Okay, I'll change the photo.
Also, I
Feedback
haven't had
received.
breakfast, Erica, so now I want food. So maybe that's
Now this page explains the plan structure because this was completely different from previous versions of the comprehensive plan. We split the elements up into 2 documents. So there's the part 1 and part 2. This is an overview of what both of those parts mean. And we tried to really summarize what the goals and policies were and then what the technical information is. With that being said, if you recall, reviewing our elements, it goes into a lot of detail in the elements themselves. So in the introduction to every part of the comprehensive plan for each specific element, it does have a lot of detail of what this element is, how to read it. So I didn't want to get too detailed on this page.
I like it. It's great.
And this is another page dedicated to what is new to this update. This is state requirements. So we have the well, not the state requirements. We have the implementation actions. This is how we changed the actions into implementation actions, the draft version in our goals, policies, and actions document. The climate element is new. It's a new element. And the equity requirements throughout the whole element itself. And then I wanted to include some definitions for appendices and foundational documents because those are found and referenced throughout the elements.
It looks great.
And that's the last page. So I do hear feedback about maybe making the language more relatable, not so technical. At the beginning, especially up here where we're talking about how we will use the plan moving forward internally. And then maybe combining what was new to the element, but also giving a more broad what is in this element, what it actually is versus just what's new with the update.
I mean, like how you've been talking us through this, Erica, is what I would love to see in the plan, right? Like if you have this and you're giving us this update, what do you want us to know? What's important with this? How you've been explaining that is perfect. So just like take that piece and zhuzh a little bit, right? It's
Okay.
perfect.
Yes,
So just
understood.
record yourself talking, like rewatch this meeting and then just go, okay, you have it. It's all here.
What we're actually going to do is just film me talking, and then
think that's
that's going to be
amazing.
the user
Yeah, just
guide.
share that.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I will keep that in mind. We have some technical writers on our team, so I think it's just finding the middle ground. And yeah, making it the user guide more usable. So I appreciate your time this morning. Unless there's any more discussion, questions for me, I think can.
Could you move it up a little bit so
Yeah.
I could see that climate a little bit more? I think I was looking here. I thought I had a question,
So let me see.
or maybe it was just complete on the other page. I don't-
Can you see it more now?
No, it needs to just go. It in there.
Okay.
The reason I'm asking about it is in a discussion that I was having with a sort of neighbor in my community, wanted to know why when we talk about climate, to him it was we spend most of the time talking about emissions and not the action, things about how we see the real change in climate. And I'm trying to think. It's been a while since I talked to him, but he said it just seems to be the only thing we have that we've been working on or that we're detailed about. And I'm reading this and going, adapt to changing climate conditions and coordinate with that, say, hazard mitigation planning. So I started me thinking, what exactly do people want us to say about the climate? And this, and like I always say, since we said it was definitely an emergency thing, I'm wondering how, when we're just doing something like this, how we explain to people that we're concerned or we're working toward or something more than just lowering gas house emissions. That's because we've been working on that for quite a while. Anyway, just a thought, just a conversation I had. It's been a little while back.
Yeah, and I wish I was more knowledgeable in the climate element. I will say we have the state requirements that we typically follow, what we need to address, and some guidelines. So the elements follow those requirements, those checklists. Going above and beyond, I know we have staff people dedicated to addressing the impacts of climate change, whether or not it's through the comprehensive plan or not. Again, I don't want to speak out of terms here because I'm not knowledgeable in the
Mhm.
climate element as much in a lot of detail or in a lot of depth. We had our water resources department help us with that as well as consultants. I did get similar feedback to housing, which was
Mm.
hard because it was what is the underlying cause of the housing crisis? What are the upriver effects or things that have impacted housing? And that could have been extensive. That would have taken a lot of time to really delve into and try to determine. I think there's a lot of factors and a lot of things that have happened historically that have brought us to this point in time. It's just staff's capacity to try to address those in the time that we had with the resources and also making sure that we follow state legislation and the Growth Management Act and addressing the topics that are required. Um, so I could follow up with Alyssa and, because, sorry, Alyssa Jones Woods, our
Mhm.
climate coordinator, and ask for more input and follow up with you. These were the
Would-
bullet items that were provided to me for that specific element. So.
You might just ask her, is there any other, um, more specific things or, that are things that we're committed to as a city around climate change, like, um, yeah. Yeah, just
Yeah,
run it past her and see what she says as someone picking up other than just, the gas emissions, and people know that. And this particular gentleman, he walks around the neighborhood a lot. He said that he really appreciates what we've done to keep encouraging people to, bike or walk or do things and reduce the gas emissions, greenhouse gas. He knows all about that. But he wanted, just some other things, I guess, what were,
yeah. And I would invite him to read the goals, policies, and actions, and then the
yeah,
technical documentation, because those are very thorough documents that dive deeper into the climate element and what we're actually addressing and some of the causes and how Tumwater plans to address climate impacts. So if he hasn't already, I would suggest that because that is a deep dive into the
yeah,
topic where this is just a very general um, highlighted quick overview of what's new to the update, and the element itself is new. This is the first time
yeah,
jurisdictions in the state are required to do a climate element. So,
yeah,
um,
yeah. Some people have been very excited about that, knowing that that's part of what the whole, and we're surprised that the state was the one that required it. They thought it was our thing. But yeah, good suggestions for him. And if there's any way to get anything in there, she thinks it's a little bit more personal to what we see we can do or want to do, would be great. Just a few words or a line or something.
yep. And I understand this is, personal is kind of the feedback that I'm getting today is making this document feel a little more personal.
Mhm.
For all the elements and all the information. So I really appreciate that. And I will take that into consideration and hopefully version 6 or 7 or 8,
Yeah,
we'll get it dialed down and uh,
they're
have a
great.
have a great document for the public to use.
Yeah. I think this one will be chosen out of the many that are going to be going, to the state. This is going to be a prize one.
I appreciate that, but this isn't actually required. So I don't I don't quite know that it's going to be submitted to the state, but it's
We're gonna-
definitely going to be on our webpage, and it's hopefully the first document that a reader will use.
Mhm. Well, we're gonna make sure that Jessica, Senator Bateman reads it. And she made some comments and we'll ask her some questions and see which part she liked the best and stuff. Because if she's gonna pass on things that she used, she'll read it. At least that part. No, it's a
Thank
good,
you.
a lot of work. It's hard work. It's, and trying to get everything in. You're doing a good job. Oh,
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, with that being said, that concludes my presentation this morning. Thank you so much for joining me.
Great, thank you, Erica. And I think that's our only agenda item, unless anyone has anything else for the good of the order. I
which
believe
were you gonna be absent today?
me?
Yeah. What would
No,
when we talked about changing something around because you couldn't make a meeting? Is this,
Isn't that months ago?
that was a while ago. We already did.
we already changed it and did it and you were here?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. I thought it was just gonna be Leetta and I have some other things.
Well, there's
Out?
in early November. I'll miss I'll miss the GGC meeting in November. So
Well, that-
I'm not sure if Lisa and folks have sent out an email about that, but I will miss that meeting. The next one.
I have not seen it.
Yeah, Leetta, weren't you, Leetta? Both of us were asked if we were available.
You know what? I'm just happy I woke up today. That's all I got. I woke up today.
Well,
I don't-
we'll figure it out. There will be a
There's no-
quorum and we'll find a date. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and no worries. It's just that I came today thinking that you were not gonna be here.
Oh, no.
Well,
I'm
you're
glad,
welcome for this surprise.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see you. Yes, yes. So
likewise.
that's the thing. So-
Okay. Well, we are still recording, so I'm good. I'll conclude this conversation. We can figure out attendance offline next week for the next meeting. But thanks everyone. We are adjourned. Have a great day.